Alright, we're getting really deep into Dragon Ball Super. But we've gotten to the point of future Trunks' storyline where he's encountering this Goku doppelganger, and of course, there's the dramatic reveal that this is actually Goku that has been possessed by Zamasu. One thing that I don't like is that we have a Goku doppelganger of a villain right now, but the thing about it is, I feel that Dragon Ball Super, as of late, has had so many things that just were very inconsistent and downright wrong. Now, one thing that I definitely have to say was definitely wrong would be the inclusion of Mai in future Trunks' storyline. Now, here are several things that you have to understand as to why this really doesn't make any sense. Now, future Trunks. Let's talk about future Trunks for a bit. This is Trunks about 20 years into the future in this timeline that is alternative to the one that we follow in Dragon Ball Z. The events that he does to affect the past in the mainstream timeline, it does absolutely nothing to change events of his timeline. So things are set no matter what he does. But one thing that we definitely have is Dragon Ball Super has been definitely pushing the notion that Trunks and Mai would be a couple. It's not so much that I don't like the idea of them being a couple, it's just when you're comparing Dragon Ball Super with the movies and seeing how everything culminates to come down to this, it really does not make any fucking sense. Because let's consider some things. In Dragon Ball Z Battle of Gods, it is shown that at some point after the Majin Buu saga, the Pilaf gang gathered the Dragon Balls and made a wish to be young again. But the wish reverted them back into children.
Even land part-time work because we're all stuck in these fat little baby bodies!
I don't want to point fingers, but earlier when Shenron offered to grant our wishes, you did tell him, Shenron, please make us young again!
I stand by that. There's no point in taking over the world if you're too old and wrinkly to enjoy it.
Here's the thing. In the movie, it is pretty much pushed that Trunks and Mai would be a potential couple. So pretty much the movie is shipping them.
Trunks, did you used to be friends with her?
Oh, her? She's actually my main squeeze.
Oh,
Pretty jealous of me, aren't ya?
so you're like boyfriend and girlfriend?
Well, yeah. We hold hands when her dad's not looking.
But here's the issue with that. In Dragon Ball Super, they have a Battle of Gods arc, which retells the events of Battle of Gods in a different way. And in this version, there is no shipping of their characters. They don't interact, and it's just nothing that even so much as hints that these two could be a couple. That's the big issue that I say with Dragon Ball Super starting off retelling the two most recent movies. Because those movies are fresh in our fucking minds, and it's completely unnecessary to tell the same story over and over again. Especially considering the two stories don't add up at all. They contradict one another, so how do you accept which one is canon? Because it's stated that the movies are canon, but of course Dragon Ball Super is canon, so which one is going to override the other? Now, as we've gotten further in the series, once Dragon Ball Super has gotten into its own original material, it is showing that Trunks and Mai, pretty much showing them together as a couple. Despite the fact in Dragon Ball Super, there was nothing to ship the two. There was nothing happened.
とにかくありがとう。
Go there! 手をつなぐなんて！お坊ちゃま！なんて大胆な！
Because it took a different approach from Dragon Ball Z Battle of Gods, and The whole thing now, it's like, if you didn't see Battle of Gods or Resurrection F, and then you suddenly start things off watching everything from Dragon Ball Super, and you're going to wonder, wait, how did these two suddenly get together? We didn't see any of that, because that's the big issue that creates this huge inconsistency between the two series. Now, we've gotten onto future Trunks' story arc. A lot of inconsistencies are definitely brought up there as to why the fuck is future Trunks' hair blue as opposed to lavender. You cannot look at me with a straight face and tell me that Toei Animation didn't see anything wrong with this picture. Seriously, am I the only one that notices this shit? Am I the only one that sees that something is wrong in this picture? But even with as bad as that is, how the hell is Mai and Trunks a couple in the future? This should be a whole different slew of events that are completely independent from what happened to Battle of Gods and Resurrection F. This would imply that sometime in future Trunks' timeline, the Pilaf gang got the Dragon Balls and did that whole thing that they did leading up into the events of Battle of Gods, which is absolutely bullshit. There is no way that the events of Battle of Gods could have possibly happened in future Trunks' timeline. The Dragon Balls are not a thing in future Trunks' timeline and have not been a thing since Trunks was a baby. So to look at all of this, we'll have to go back and take a look at the history of Trunks.
Father!
Oh, Gohan, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, honey.
6 months later, on an island 9 miles southwest of South City, 2 artificial beings with strength beyond normal conception have appeared out of nowhere. Yes, Piccolo was the first to try, and the first to die.
Trunks was born by the time that Goku dies of the heart virus. But of course, Trunks is a baby at this point in time. And then, 6 months after Goku's death, that's when the androids arrive on Earth. Piccolo is the first to confront the androids and the first to get killed. So, right then and there, the Dragon Balls were no longer an option to be able to use since that time. So Trunks would still be a baby by then, and the Dragon Balls are already taken out of the equation as it leads to the other Z Warriors getting killed. This is a future where they have not had the Dragon Balls to be able to rely on them to wish people back to life. So this is a very dark future in Dragon Ball Z. However, I did find some interesting information. In a special chapter of Dragon Ball Super illustrated by Toya Toro, it is shown that the Pilaf gang at some point in the past did collect the Dragon Balls, and their wish was to be young again. However, the wish worked too well, and they got reverted back into being babies. Now, as you can see, Bulma and Gohan are here to try to stop them, but they arrived too late. And as it turns out, this wish was made mere moments before Piccolo died by the hands of the androids, making this the last wish on the Dragon Balls for that time period. Now, one thing that doesn't make any sense is the fact that the Pilaf gang managed to find the Dragon Balls without a Dragon Radar. And it's also the fact that no one was aware that they were being collected. Like, Bulma's radar was not going off at this point. And another thing is, who was taking care of the Pilaf gang while they were infants? And another thing to take note of is that Bulma has seen the Pilaf gang as adults, then she sees them as babies, and also she has seen them as children in Battle of Gods. However, she does not recognize them. Unless we're just saying that Bulma attended the Ash Ketchum School of recognizing bad guys. And to that, I just say bullshit. Because all of these things just seem to have been thrown together without any regard as to how they can logically fit within the story. Especially when you consider that this is part of a side chapter. It's not part of the main manga or anime. So the information that this provides may as well be data book information. And also when you consider how could Mai have survived by some miracle for all of this time, yet we see that the rest of the Pilaf gang has not. And then there's the question of how exactly did Mai and Trunks become a couple in this timeline. In Battle of Gods, it shows how these two got together in the mainstream timeline. However, no information is given as to how these two discovered each other in the future timeline. And one thing to take note is that while Mai has a body that's similar in age to Trunks, she's actually supposed to look something like this, as she would be a woman well into her 60s, close to her 70s at this point in the story. And it's weird that Trunks is with a woman who in actuality is old enough to be his grandmother. Also, in Battle of Gods, Bulma states that she's 38 when in actuality she's 45. And when Maya's asked her age, she states that she's 41. However, she is actually 48. So one thing is that Toriyama decided to make the characters a bit younger because he feels that it'll make them just right. Just right for what? Sucking dick? I don't get it. You already said how old these characters are, so why are you retconning ages now? So that's just the big issue here. Is that this Dragon Ball Super has created a lot of inconsistencies, and it just really seems like Toriyama really isn't checking his facts, as a lot of things just really do not add up with another. I wish it would be more consistent, and another thing is I feel that they're just really not utilizing themselves properly, especially not with the fact that we're resorting to an evil Goku doppelganger as a villain, something that we've had done in Dragon Ball Z: The Tree of Might. So with all of this, you can pretty much see that there is no way in hell that Mai could possibly still be alive by now. And there is no way in hell that future Mai and future Trunks could ever be a couple, because future Mai is either old or dead, but most likely dead. So what do you guys think about this? Do you guys see just how inconsistent this bullshit has really been as of late? Do you really not buy the idea of them as a couple, or are you just okay with it? So be sure to let me know in the comments below. Also, be sure to like and subscribe for more videos to come in the future. And also, if you have any suggestions, be sure to give me a word on Facebook. So with that, that'll be the end of this video, and I'll see you guys next time.